So we have seen inspection of image, inspection of container, and now we are going to do direct action. Direct action? What is that? Nothing. Direct action, execute commands on your container using exec. So let's look into that history of exec command. So in the early days of Docker, many users added SSH servers to their images so that they could access them with a shell from outside. This was frowned upon by Docker as it treated the container as a VM and added a process overhead to a system that should not need it. Many of the developers and operational engineers has objected that once it started, there was no easy way to get into a container. As a result, Docker introduced the exec command, which was a much neater solution to the problem of affecting and inspecting the internals of containers once started. So it's this command we're gonna discuss in this slide. So the problem statement here is we want to perform commands to a running commands on a running container. Is it possible? As it is possible, it was made possible by Docker using exec command. So we will start a container. For that, we will start a container in the background with option D, that is detached mode, and tell it to sleep forever. Do nothing. We will name this command as a sleeper command. So run a container to run Docker exec commands on. So first you run your container. Once your container is up and running, then we can use this basic we can use Docker exec to access the containers bash. Okay, so here now that after starting the container, we will perform various actions on it using Docker exec command. So we'll start a container in the background and tell it to sleep forever using the commands. Then we'll do basic daemon in interactive. Okay, and after that we are going to do attach more commands. The next exercise we are going to do is Docker exec sleeper echo hello host from container. Sleeper is the name of the container, and we are saying you enter inside the sleeper container, and inside that you print hello host from container. So here in this case what happens is, note that the structure of this command is very similar to the Docker run command, but instead of the ID of an image, we give the ID of a running container, and the echo command refers to the echo binary within the container, not outside. It is within the container, not outside. So the daemon mode runs the command in the background. You won't see the output in your terminal. So this might be useful for regular housekeeping tasks where you want to fire the command and forget, such as cleaning up log files as in the following listing. You see that if you want to delete log files older than a week on a container, it's very difficult to handle those things. So then we'll use Docker exec option D, detached mode, and sleeper. So here what we're going to do is this, the D flag runs the command as a daemon in the background. Okay, in the background it will run this as a daemon in the background, and it will do the required when it is need to be done. So it removes all the files that are unchanged in the last 7 days, and that end with a log. Okay, whichever file that ends with the log which hasn't been touched for the last 7 days will be removed using this. You see that the time that we have given, and all find and then see time option and 7 days, and the name, if any file that starts with a log that contains a log in it, should be removed if it is not changed inside the container. So returns immediately regardless of how long it will take to complete, because it's a continuous, it runs on background. Okay. So finally, we have the interactive mode that we're gonna do. This allows you to run whatever commands you like from within the container. To enable this, you will usually want to specify the shell to run interactively, which in the following code as bash. You see docker exec it interactive key is TTY, that's a terminal sleeper is the container name, and bin bash is the shell that we want to use it, and we are gonna do it. Now let's get into our Docker server to demonstrate or to do direct action into the containers. Yep. So let me do Docker images. Yes, absolutely fine. So now we are gonna do this exercise using MySQL. But before that, what we're gonna do is let's also do exec into the Nginx and our Wipro app. So Docker PS. So two are running. One is Wipro app container. Other one is load balancer container at 8080 and 8090. Let's look into that. 8080 is Nginx. 8090 is our Wipro app. Okay. So let's do the exec. Docker exec. What I'm gonna do is let's get into the slide. It is echo hello host from the container. Okay, Docker exec, it's a load balancer, and echo, sorry, yeah, it has just printed, it just echoed the empty space, but I'll say echo hello run from the load balancer container. Here it is. Here it is. Hello, Charan from the load balancer container. This is from load balancer, not from our machine. Okay. And similarly, we'll exec from the Nginx container. Nginx, sorry, Wipro app container. That's Wipro app. And it's Wipro app. The name of the container is Wipro app. And here it is. Hey, Charan from the Wipro app container. You could see that? I think you can see that. So now it's time for the direct action into MySQL. So clear the screen for that and get into my Docker Hub and bring it up the respective image. So Docker image, I'll go with the MySQL and scroll down a bit and find out the tag v1 and copy it and paste it in our Docker server and execute it, and within seconds you would see Docker MySQL image. Here it is. So let me say Docker images, and here Docker kube MySQL and version 1, that's the tag. Yes, nice. So now let me let me know what is the port I should map it. That's very important. For that, I'm gonna do Docker inspect of image. That's kube MySQL version 1, and let's get into that. Last tag time is this, and there are plenty of I think maybe too many layers in it, and overlay and loader OS Linux varlib volumes, varlib MySQL volumes and working there. So image name and command is MySQL D. Then we have our environment variables. So that we're gonna execute environment variable of each. And Docker version 20.10.2.12 and volumes and CMG MySQL G 8.0. Here it is. Exposed ports. So the this service in this MySQL database has been exposed to 3306 port inside the container. So I am gonna check. I am gonna copy this. Anyway, anyone. So both of anyone is works. Anyone will work. So copy that and go to your. So, okay. This is uh, direct action example. Okay. Brilliant. So MySQL is the one which you have taken, and here are the ports, and now it's time to run the container. So Docker run name db, and what we have is after that, after db, we'll put it in detached mode, and then environment variable, that is, sorry, MySQL root and password. So I would take it as pass wd is our password, and so port mapping as usual. So I'll put 3030 of the host with what's that, 3306. Okay, 3306. Then we will give the image tag. So it's cube and MySQL version 1. So let's cross check and let's execute. Docker run name option, db is name, and detached mode environment variable MySQL root password pass wd is the password, P is the port mapping from 3030 of 3030 of host machine with the 3306 of the container, and then name of the image. Let me execute it. Here it is. So your image, your container is spinning up and running. So Docker ps. Okay. Docker PSA, it is in exited state. Let us check what's the problem. When you to troubleshoot also we use inspect again. Docker inspect and db. So this is okay. No, sorry. We'll use logs to get the actual clarity. Yeah, the problem with this Docker logs DB entry point script for MySQL server started switching to dedicated user MySQL entry point script for MySQL server started error, database is uninitialized, and password option is not specified. Not specified. What? Let me cross check. Okay. MySQL root. So Docker run name option, then db detached mode environment variable, and MySQL capital root, and then sorry, that's underscore, and so this time I'm gonna spin a db1. Okay, that's the issue there. Okay, port mapping 3030. Okay, rest all fine. Let's do that. So Docker ps, here it is, up and running. Yeah, you see that, and it's db1, it's db1. So it's time for us to do the Docker inspect to the container. It's db1, and you see that. So total we have one gateway and three containers are up and running. They are 2, 3, 4. See the proper networking. You can see the networking here itself. Here itself, the first two octets represents identifies a network, and second two identifies the host, and that's pretty clear. That's fantastic way of learning networking. This is the best practical demonstration of networking and gateway bridge and everything, all such concepts. Anyway, let me copy this one here. Mm, and I'll ping this one. I'll ping it and I'll see what's the status, whether it is sending and receiving the packets or not. Yes, pretty well. It's working 64 bytes. Let me close it. Yeah, 11 packets has been transmitted, 11 received. Received, absolutely fine. So now let's do some magic. So Docker exec, and here it is. I'm gonna use Docker exec and name of the, what's that? It's name of the container. Yeah, name of the container is db1. Then I would say echo. Yes, send me some data here. Store my data in your database and return when I want. Let's see what's going to happen. Here it is. Hey, store my data in your database and return when I want. Nice, na? Okay. Now, what we are gonna do is we are gonna execute and we are gonna operate MySQL schema, MySQL server of this container from our host server, from our host machine, or from our Docker server. So for that, we need to install a Docker, install MySQL. Okay, for that, we have to bring up apt search, and pattern is MySQL. Done. Huge amount of stuff has come. Gee, okay. This is huge. It is Tsung, Test Kitchen, Tango, Simpa, SQLine, SQL Gray, and it's lot Ruby SQL, Ruby Amazon EC2, RT4DB MySQL. Lot. There are a lot of packages which are with that pattern, and Python 3 AIO MySQL, and Python Novak client and doc, and PostgreSQL, PHP 7.4 MySQL. So lot of lot. MySQL client 8.4. I'm gonna go with this. So there are few more. It's not few, it's a huge. But still, I'm gonna copy this, and we are gonna install this. Sorry. So it's apt install and package name and option Y. Here it is, it's getting installed. So once it has been installed, okay, it's done, it's been installed. So now I can use this MySQL, basically MySQL, to connect to the local MySQL server through socket where run MySQL d.sock. That we're gonna do. For that, I will give command MySQL command, and attached with option H. That's a host, and the host which is hosting the container is okay. For that, I have to bring up. I have to do Docker inspect again to the container. I forgot that Docker inspect. I remember. I think 172.0 dot something. Okay, once a Docker inspect and then db2. Okay, Yeah, this is what, wow, okay, 172.17.0.4. Copy this. So now let's do that. MySQL option H and database host name, or that's our container IP, and I'll go as a root user, and I'll give the secret pass that I think I have given, pass WD, correct? Let me enter. Yes, we are inside the container, and we can do any operations inside the container. It's like working on your database. So now I'll give /h, and you see different commands that you can use to execute inside that. And let's begin with connect. You can use a connect to connect with the uh, database, specifically for that connect, and then you have to mention the database name, db1. So there is no database such as db1 or db2 or db3. First you have to create a database, and then see, and then you can connect with the database. Okay, yeah. So similarly you can give use and char set and a lot. So print, yes, this is what it prints, that database information. If you have, it's like show databases. Then we have no query, so you have to mention the query specified, and then rehash source status system. So a lot of commands, and you can do, basically you can create your database, and you can create your schema. You can work on that. You can pull the data, push the data. You can create, and you can select all the queries that are connected with SQL can be given and can work on it. So let me get out of this. Yeah, say exit. Yes, it's saying bye. That means we have to say bye now. It's time to bid a goodbye to our MySQL. So now one more thing we are going to do is, before we wrapping up this uh, direct action, we will see how can we use environment variable. We'll begin with, first we'll see what all containers we have. We have 3 containers. Docker ps, we'll do docker inspect to each container. We'll begin with load balancer first, and then we will find out the environment variables of load balancer, and we'll copy it and we'll paste it in our sticky note so that we can use it later. Where are the, yeah, here's some. We'll take some. That's more than enough. This is specific to nginx. We'll take them. So copy this, and here is our sticky note, and this is our nginx. I think, yeah, it's on top. So here I'm gonna place our, yeah. So let's begin now. So let me directly enter into the container docker exec, and here it is it, that is interactive. I'll show that command one more time so that it would be pretty clear for you. Docker exec, option I interactive, option T terminal, sleeper is the name of the container. Here our container name is it, name of the container here is load balancer. I will enter. Sorry, one thing we are missing, that's bin bash, that is our shell. So now we are inside the container. You see that it's a container ID, and this is the root user inside the container. Now let me say who am I. You see that is a root, and pwd, we are in root directory, root virtual directory of the container. So now what we're going to do is we'll start looking into the, so let's see path variable first. Echo, you see that, see that, and let's see the, that's how environment variable works. echo, and it is nginx version is fine. Nginx version. Here it is. It's a 1.23.3, and we have package release. We'll see package. Okay, something wrong. Let me copy this. Copy that directly. So okay, package release. Okay. Oh, it's I typed it packer, not package, not package. That's okay. It's one and tilde and bullseye. So similarly, we will do with. Let's come out of that, and we will do the same for um, Docker PS. It's to the Wipro app also, and we'll see. So Docker exec and Wipro app, and before that I'll put IT, and finally we have bin bash. Yes, we are inside that. You see the container ID, and you see that root, and this is the this is the working directory of that image. So let me do the pwd. You see that user local tomcat. So okay, similarly you can give some ls. You can find out the running.txt web apps notice logs. So these are the files inside that, and cd, sorry, just let me do the exit, and docker inspect and wipro, and I should find out. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, yeah. Path, Java home. So GPG keys, copy this and paste it here. This is Wipro. Yeah, yeah. So let's begin with the path we have seen. And path for Java varies, and path for Jenkins is different. Everything is different. You just want to know the path of that, you can get it from here. So, but before that, let me get into that. So it is our Docker exec. Okay, I have it. Yeah. So let me do echo and paste it here. So path, you see that? User local tomcat bin, and here you will find your path of that uh, Wipro app. And similarly, this time we are gonna look into Java home. Let's find a Java home, because Java home is useful when you are working on Jenkins. So this is other way of getting the Java home. You see that opt Java open JDK. So now let's look into one more environment variable. This time language LLC Java version is fine. And then we can get the JPG key also that we are going to do. And Catalina home also we can check if you want. These are environment variable. These are predefined variable. You see that it's JDK 11.0.7 plus 8. And this time we are going to look into what's that? Catalina home. It's normal. So let's GPG keys and we'll see. Here it is. Here it is. This is your GPG keys. So this is how we use environment variables, and this is how we enter inside the container. This is how we play around inside the container. But let me exit from here, and we are gonna do Docker inspect for DB1. That's our SQL database. And let me scroll up and find out some of the environment variables and do a bit of game here. So these are very important, these environment variable, and you can attach more environment variables with that also. So Docker exec. Okay, before that let me paste it here. uh, I think it's down yeah, here let me paste it here. So Docker exec it, and this is db2, and here what we have is that's a bin bash. What else? So there is no bin bash. Then, oh sorry, one, yes, inside that bash 4.4. So now let's do echo, and what's that? Let's begin with gosu. Or path would be different completely because this is different. And gosu version will begin with gosu version, and exit and enter, execute it. So you got the version, and similarly you can get it other information about that, which is the workbench. What version of the workbench you can get? Cell version we'll see. Workbench and all that we know it's 8.4 major, but we'll look into the shell version so that we can get more clarity about that. So paste, let me paste it here. So here it is. That's how 8.4.32 hyphen 1.8 LH. Okay. So let me exit from this. So with this, we have successfully demonstrated the exec command, and we have done the direct action into 3 containers. I hope that's more than enough for us. I hope you will also explore more than that.